How Rip's Texas trip sets up the Dutton Ranch's future in Yellowstone. During the first moments of desire is all you need, Beth and Case learn that John is dead in Yellowstone. John's death will have repercussions for the Dutton family, including Rip. Among other things, in the aftermath of his passing, there will be a battle for the future of the ranch, as Beth was helping John to save it from developers who wanted to convert it into a ski resort next to a newly planned international airport. Aside from being the doting husband, Rip will be more involved in defending the ranch in the remainder of Yellowstone Season 5. Rip goes to Texas to help move some cattle that are in danger of being exposed to brucellosis, a disease that could be deadly to the herd and which could be transmitted to humans. Taking the cattle down south is supposed to shield them from exposure and ensure their survival. But for Rip, it is about much more than that, as Yellowstone Season 5. Episode 9 makes it clear that he fears cowboy culture is dying. Rip's feelings are first made clear when a young boy asks to pet his horse. Despite his usual hard demeanor, Rip not only allows it, but attempts to teach him how to tell whether a horse likes someone. Rip's willingness to teach the boy about horses represented his hope that he could instill an interest in cowboy culture in at least one member of the next generation, which would allow the culture to live on. However, his defeated response to the child remarking that his sister didn't believe cowboys exist anymore demonstrates his fear that this is a futile effort. Later, Rip is even more explicit about his fears. While camping for the night, he tells Walker that soon cowboy culture will be gone, as he expects that humans will first burn down the rainforests and then turn to wind and solar power, thus eliminating the role of cowboys in working the land and taking care of cattle meant for meat. This exchange demonstrates even more clearly that Rip sees this trip not only as an attempt to save a herd of cattle, but also to save the entire way of life that he loves. The Dutton Ranch is John's legacy, and his death means that there is a threat it will end up in the hands of developers who want to destroy it. Thus, John needed heirs who would fight for the ranch with everything they had. Rip understood what the ranch represented to John. The ranch is more than a piece of land. It is the Dutton family's heirloom, and it represents the rancher and cowboy culture that John worked hard to maintain throughout his lifetime. Rip loves the cowboy culture as much as John did, so he will see the fight for the ranch as a way he can fight back against the erosion of his way of life in the remainder of Yellowstone Season 5. He was willing to go to Texas to save one herd of cattle for John. And now there is a far bigger fight ahead with Jamie and Beth's all-out war. Rip's fear of losing the culture, as emphasized in his trip to Texas, will fuel his desire to fight for the ranch, especially considering his deep love for Beth and his respect for John. Although Yellowstone is supposed to end after Season 5, there have been persistent rumors that it will return for a 6th season, with Rip and Beth as the lead characters. This makes sense if they are the ones primarily fighting to preserve their family legacy. Yellowstone Season 5 will focus on the war between Beth and Jamie after John's death, with Rip fighting on Beth's side. Thus, if they are victorious, the ranch will remain in their hands, which opens new storyline opportunities for Season 6. Beth and her husband have always been more loyal to John than any other member of the Dutton family, and they will fight hard to preserve his legacy. Rip is also fueled by his desire to hold on to the cowboy culture that he believes will soon die out, making him someone that those who sought John's death should deeply fear. Rip's determination to save the ranch and the culture that goes with it will make for a gripping end to Yellowstone Season 5. Beyond that, it also sets up a potential Season 6 where Rip and Beth continue the work John left behind. Rip Wheeler's journey to Texas is more than just a detour. It's a carefully orchestrated setup for the future of the Dutton Ranch in Yellowstone. As a trusted enforcer and John Dutton's right-hand man, Rip has always been at the heart of the ranch's operations, Sending him to Texas signals a pivotal shift in the series' narrative, intertwining the rich legacy of the Dutton family with new challenges and opportunities that could redefine their empire. Here's how Rip's Texas trip paves the way for the ranch's future. A new frontier, expanding the Dutton legacy. Rip's trip to Texas symbolizes an exploration of untapped potential. Texas, with its sprawling landscapes and deeply ingrained ranching culture, mirrors Montana's rugged beauty but introduces a different set of rules and dynamics. For John Dutton, expanding operations to Texas isn't merely about diversification. It's about ensuring the longevity of his family's legacy in the face of mounting threats. As Rip surveys the Lone Star State, his presence there could signify the start of a new Dutton-owned outpost, a foothold in a territory that complements their Montana operations. This move isn't without precedent. The Yellowstone Ranch has always been about preserving tradition, but John's vision for the future demands adaptability. Texas offers fertile ground for cattle operations, partnerships, and perhaps even alliances with influential ranching families. Rip's mission could include scouting for land acquisitions, assessing local competition, or even laying the groundwork for a strategic merger. His success in Texas might secure the resources and support needed to combat the political and corporate vultures circling Yellowstone back home. Bridging generations, a lesson in leadership. Rip's departure leaves a significant gap at the Yellowstone Ranch, forcing Case, Beth, and the ranch hands to step up in his absence. This temporary power vacuum serves as a trial by fire, particularly for Case, who has often struggled to reconcile his duty to the ranch with his desire for a simpler life. Rip's absence challenges Case to assert himself as a leader, drawing on lessons learned from both his father and Rip to maintain order and uphold the ranch's code. For Beth, Rip's trip is an emotional strain, but also an opportunity for growth. As much as Beth thrives on chaos, her love for Rip is one of her few grounding forces. With him away, she'll need to channel her fiery determination into protecting the ranch through her sharp business acumen and unrelenting resolve. Rip's journey to Texas serves as a catalyst for the Dutton children to prove they're capable of safeguarding their family's legacy without relying solely on him. Revisiting the past, connections to the 6666 Ranch. Rip's destination in Texas is no random choice. The 6666 Ranch, steeped in history and mythos, has long been hinted at as a significant player in the Yellowstone universe. Known for its legendary status in cattle ranching, the 6666 Ranch represents a connection to the Duttons' past and possibly their future. John's decision to send Rip there could be rooted in more than just business. It's a nod to the shared heritage and values between the two ranches. The 6666 Ranch also introduces new characters and dynamics that could influence Rip's journey. From seasoned ranch hands to ambitious newcomers, Rip's interactions in Texas could forge alliances or ignite rivalries that have ripple effects back in Montana. The shared ethos of loyalty, hard work, and fierce independence makes the 6666 Ranch a natural ally for the Duttons, but the question remains, at what cost? A test of loyalty. Rip's internal struggles. Rip's loyalty to John Dutton and the Yellowstone Ranch is unwavering, but his trip to Texas forces him to confront what that loyalty truly means. Away from the familiar landscapes of Montana, Rip faces new challenges that test his resolve and resourcefulness. The trip also offers Rip a rare moment of introspection. As he immerses himself in the Texas ranching world, he's reminded of why he's dedicated his life to the Duttons and the land they fight to protect. This journey might also rekindle memories of his own past and the choices that brought him to Yellowstone. Rip's time in Texas could be a turning point, reinforcing his commitment to the Duttons or perhaps planting seeds of doubt about the cost of that loyalty. As Rip navigates the unfamiliar terrain of Texas, viewers gain deeper insights into his character, enriching the narrative and adding complexity to his role in the Dutton saga. Foreshadowing conflict, new enemies on the horizon. Texas isn't just an opportunity, it's a battleground. The state's ranching community is fiercely competitive, and Rip's presence might not be welcomed by everyone. As he evaluates potential partnerships and opportunities, Rip is likely to encounter resistance from local ranchers who view him as an outsider. This tension sets the stage for future conflicts, with Rip's actions in Texas potentially sparking rivalries that follow him back to Montana. The introduction of new antagonists from Texas adds another layer of intrigue to Yellowstone. Whether it's a powerful ranching family, a corporate entity eyeing the 6666 Ranch, or an individual with a personal vendetta, Rip's trip could introduce adversaries whose influence extends far beyond state lines. These new dynamics ensure that the Duttons' fight for survival remains as compelling as ever.